Hello, my fellow Americans and other YouTube viewers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Solutions. So far, the discussions about Black Lives Matter and the shootings, cop killing blacks, black on black crime, all this stuff, well, at least it hasn't gotten ugly. I will give you credit, and I thank my viewers for that. But we're just kind of going, it's like a merry-go-round right now. So let me see if I can kind of like stop the merry-go-round and focus the conversation in a productive direction. Number one, please take me out of the equation. I'm not in this equation at all. So it would be nice if you don't tell me what I'm doing or what I'm thinking, okay? Or what I don't want to do or don't want to talk about. Let's just take me out of the equation. Number two, pick one problem and then come up with some solutions. So if you want to say black on black crime, okay, that's the problem, then come up with solutions. Because somebody's accusing me of like, I don't want to look at the truth or something. Or no, I do want to look at the truth. I'm all about truth. But you see, social issues are usually complex. Now, as an analyst, my background is computers, and I studied logic. So I'm pretty good at identifying problems, breaking them down, finding simple, and then finding simple solutions to work towards an overall solution. But you see, social problems are more intertwined. I mean, it's like the nature versus nurture argument. You know, you cannot compute the area of the rectangle unless you have the height and the width, because you need both. So in social situations and social problems, it's kind of like computing the area of a rectangle. There's many pieces. You can have one part, but if you don't have the other part, you can't come to a overall solution. It won't work. So the thing is, it's just like somebody said, choosing statistics on the statistics video. I didn't choose any statistics. I computed statistics. I got some raw data. I got the number of whites killed by cops, the number of blacks killed by cops. Okay, that's from the FBI. That's raw data. Okay, that's raw data. Then I got some more raw data from the U.S. Census. You know, the population, the number of whites living in America, and the number of blacks. That is raw data. I did nothing. And then all I did was compute a frequency. I computed that. There's no bias in those statistics. That is the way analysis is done. I mean, if you look at the how they do it in medicine, you know, when you're looking at problems, you look at the population and then you look at the incidence, okay? And then you see like, well, then if you start to segment the population, can you see, is there some population more at risk than other populations? This is science. This is not anything I, the Rumpled One, am doing to you know, mislead anybody. I'm trying to set the record straight here. So, like I said, you know, kind of, you know, take me out of this equation. Don't accuse me of this, that, or the other. All I'm trying to do, you know, is set the record straight. So once again, let us focus on the problem, okay? Somebody said in a response that, you know, the blacks know where the criminals live. Let us assume that's a true statement. Let us assume every black in the neighborhood knows where the criminals live. So what's the solution? You call up the police. Hey, criminals live over there. Okay, criminals live. What can they do? Not much, because they usually need evidence. So maybe they could stake out the house. Maybe they can see a lot of people going in and out, some activity. But that in and of itself is not a crime. So they need some evidence. So, I mean, hey, the police have a tough job. Okay? I understand that. I sure don't want to sign up to be one. So the point is that when you make these statements, you got to think them through. I mean, okay, blacks know where the criminals live. What can they do? What is your solution? Now, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying, I'm analyzing the situation. I'm looking at what's said. I'm making observations. Then I'm doing my analysis. And then I'm coming to certain conclusions. Scientific method, okay? You know, that's my background, science, not social. Even though I have learned and I have read a lot of psychology books. And so you see, one of the things, like I said, I've studied is communications. And for some strange reason, we are not communicating well. It's my responsibility and it's your responsibility. So what I'm saying is, to help the communication, let's take me out of the equation, number one. Let's focus on one issue, you know, rather than if you write me a paragraph and it's all over the map. No, pick one thing, propose solutions, and then we can move forward. Because all this finger pointing, you know, blacks this and whites that, it gets us nowhere and it shuts communication down. Okay? So you think maybe we can move forward now? Because if we can't, then what's the point? I mean, really, isn't that what it's all about? Finding solutions, implementing solutions, you know, test things out. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't, adjust or maybe quit. Once again, science, simple. But social issues are not so simple. There's many factors. It's like homelessness. Get a job. Well, some people just can't get a job. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that go into why somebody's homeless. And even bigger than all of that, you know, we're talking about data and statistics. You got to remember, there's something that's lost in all of that. We're people. I'm people. You're people, right? So you're dealing with people. You're dealing with individuals. So when somebody makes, well, blacks this, well, then you're labeling everybody. But I'm not like that. That's not me. So we got to stop that kind of talk, because see, words have meanings. Words also have connotations. So if you're trying to communicate, if you're really interested in solving this, then choose your words carefully. Remember, what the word means to you might mean something entirely different to the person that you're talking to. Because we're all unique. We all have different backgrounds. You know, we all have different life experiences. So we see things differently. We analyze things differently. And so you have to account for that. So really, I mean, somebody wrote something about, you know, I said education is the key, and they go, no, it's not the key. They said something about, you know, having a good moral compass or something along those lines. Well, how does one get a good moral compass? It's through education. Either your parents or family teaches you, school teaches you, your place of worship teaches you. Isn't that education? So you see, when people come back at me like that, what it's telling me is that you're just out to prove me wrong. You're not listening for understanding. You're not reading for understanding. You're just listening so you can find something. I got you. You're wrong. That doesn't help communication. I mean, really, it's pretty. You know, some of this stuff, you know, it's a serious matter, but some of what people are doing here makes me laugh because I can see it clearly. It's like they don't realize what they're doing. And then somebody's going to maybe come back and say, I don't realize what I'm doing. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just telling you what's happening. This is how I see the situation. This is I look at things from a systematic standpoint. You know, if this happens, then that happens. And if you see it happening over and over again, it paints a picture. So, my fellow Americans, I mean, really, we all know there's problems. Okay, we know that. So if you can correctly identify one specific problem, then you come up with some solutions. And to me, one of the biggest problems is that people are holding on to information that's not true. They're believing the propaganda machine. And if you do that, if you start out with a false premise, then you're going to wind up with a false conclusion. I mean, that's just logic, okay? So if you haven't studied logic, go online. There's some simple, you can learn some of this stuff, in a few hours. I mean, I liked it. It's really cool. It's a great tool. But once again, my fellow Americans, let's focus on the solutions, and let's also wake up and smell the tyranny.